Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
Flipped in the channel, see these clowns in suits. Good citizens losing faith, starting to root. Candyman of the media, sweeten the loot. Government scandal, feeling like a bad spoof. Pushing my buttons, keep poking the beast. I can see through the front. Pushing my buttons. Love when you push, but these lies be corrupted. In the limelight, I bust on the scene. Like a wild meme, got them shaking on screen. East to the west, I'm the voice of the mean. Rabble rousing culture, becoming routine. Pushing my buttons, space scramble and stutter. Ain't nothing that trusted. Pushing my buttons, laugh at the lies, still the truth they be ducking. Citizens fed up or unstoppable.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody.
Parody headline, twisted illusion.
We got a hell of a show for you today.
Feel the confusion.
We got a couple heavy hitters out from the east side.
Don't be pushing my buttons.
Right, don't be pushing the buttons. Who we have up on panel today besides PCM? We have Gail. Welcome, Gail.
Thanks for coming, Gail.
We have Mr. Terry Kim.
Howdy, y'all.
Gary.
And we have Gary Reed.
Good to see you, Gary. Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
All right, let's see. And in the comments, we got Huntington. Appreciate you being here, Huntington. Yeah, it's everywhere. We deal with this stuff. Even Huntington, she's all the way out in PA, and it's a lot of the same stuff. It's just it's everywhere you go, guys.
Everywhere.
I can't help to think that we're a little to blame, sometimes for just not keeping our government in check, letting them just do what they want.
Well, they've been working hard and a long time to get us this way. I mean, in my opinion, it goes back to the early 80s, really, when we started becoming more of a surveillance state. And then, of course, with 9/11, that was basically the beginning of the end of,
agree with that.
freedom of as we think of freedom as Americans, as citizens,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Well, I mean, if we had more people standing up, that would also help, I think, in my opinion, if we had more people standing up than just the small.
A lot of people want those rights, but not the duties.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of them don't understand that if they don't stand up, they're going to lose them.
Everything.
Yeah.
And they already are.
They're usually the first ones to piss and moan about how bad it is. But when you ask them what they do about it, they're like, I'm not even registered to vote. It's like, well, then what do you expect's going to happen?
Yeah.
If you don't even want any say in it on how things are run, then why are you even bitching about it if you're not going to participate?
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome in, John. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, John.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's
You're
going.
looking at it.
It's
A
going.
rainy
So
day in Colorado.
So let's get to some introductions here, because a lot of people here that are in the chat right now know John Denicola, they know Gail, they know GCM, they know myself. Why don't we start out with Gary? Gary, why don't you give us a little breakdown on who you are? Promote yourself, man. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
My wife and I bought a radio station about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, and it's one of those. It's a learning experience. I've had no radio experience whatsoever, and I got thrust into this thing, wet feet and all, and again, it's a very steep learning curve. I've been a diesel mechanic my whole life, whole different ball game, and I'm not saying that I dislike the doing these shows and being live on the radio, but there is something that you definitely need to be prepared for what you want to talk about. That's probably the biggest thing I can say is I have learned to do a lot more preparing. It used to be just sitting around the coffee shop and you would talk to the old timers and the young guys and the everybody, but that ship has sailed. It doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. That's me. And like I say, we have a local radio station. LaHunterRadio.com if you want to stream us online. I'm the 6 to 10 guy on 92.1 FM, and I usually get on Facebook about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm usually there for about an hour or so, depending on how the discussion's going. And it's really nice talking to a lot of people all over the country.
Yeah, all over the country. And then once you start getting into this, Gary, we'll get you into this, man. You can start talking to people all over the world, Gary.
And believe it or not, I have got some listeners, Canada, Mexico, stuff like that. So they're coming around.
We have a lot of Canadians in here, guys. Yep. And LaHunterRadio.com. I mean, you guys can listen from anywhere in the world.
Yep.
Yes. It's pretty cool. I was listening to it the other day when I was out and about. So having that website. It's a pretty nice website too. So easy to maneuver. I found exactly what I was looking for. So,
hey Gary, when you said you bought a radio station, did you buy KLMR down there in Lamar?
So I bought the La Junta, Colorado radio station.
Okay, all right, yeah.
KTHN, KBLJ, but I bought it from the same guy that owned the station in Lamar.
Yeah, I love that building.
Yeah, and he is a crooked devil. I suggest to stay away from that guy.
Well, welcome to Arkansas Valley.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
No, I believe it. I mean, obviously. So, I was just curious. Sorry to interrupt, guys.
Oh, that's all right.
No, it's all right.
Questions are good.
That's the whole point behind introductions, man. And
yeah,
you can always, you question the person, about their expertise or whatnot or so forth. And speaking of that, Terry, why don't you let the good people out here in YouTube land know what you're all about?
Yeah, all right. I moved here to Los Animas around 9 years ago with my wife because she had cancer. We bought the old doctor's office because she likes weird things. But after she passed away, she got me into politics because she got tired of one candidate on the ballot, and the marijuana dispensary issue here came up in town. I eventually got on a bunch of boards. I was on the original POP board. I served on city council here. I'm still on Public Works board here in Los Animas, and I'm currently working to make sure that everybody running for office in the current election is doing so for the right reasons. Awesome. That's basically about my life story in a nutshell.
Well, we appreciate both of you guys for sure.
Thank you.
It takes all of us, banding together to get to where we want to be.
Right.
I don't think this is where anybody wants to be right now currently.
Yeah.
It's a rough situation we're all in. So
yeah.
Well, election time is here, so that's a good chance to get out and speak with your votes.
Yes.
Definitely.
And you gotta really know what these people are standing for. And especially here in Benton County, we've got a lot of vultures coming back who had previously been held seats in this county and city, and they're part of the reasons why we got where we were at.
Well, it seems that way all around, Terry. I mean,
Yeah.
especially down here in southern Colorado, whether you're east or west, it doesn't
Well,
matter. It seems like
Gary
the same
always
characters
says
playing.
you got to go to those town meetings.
Yeah.
You have to. That's all there is to it. And one person can't get all of them. That's the worst part.
Believe me, I tried.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. Well, that's what, it's like I was telling somebody the other day. I was like, back in the old days, if all the villagers got their pitchforks and torches and surrounded the castle, Frankenstein had to go.
Yes.
And I just wondered why everybody lost their sense of responsibility and just sense of justice, to where, what do these people actually have above your head to where you can't even feel like you
just us now, Terry.
Yeah, there is
just
no justice, just us.
I think a lot of it's just complacency.
Yes.
I'm happy with my little lot in town, and nobody really bothers me a whole lot. And as long as nobody bothers me, then I'm happy. But what they don't understand is everything that's getting passed behind your back.
Yeah.
That by the time you realize that you're not happy, it's too late.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the problem, Gary. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are happy with their little plot of land or whatever, and they're happy with what's going on in their own little world. But if you don't take the time to actually go and look at what's going on with your government and it doesn't, we're not talking presidential government. We're talking about your local government.
Well,
if you don't keep an eye on them, you're going to end up in a situation that you don't like. And then, I mean, hell, take Aguilar, for example. There's a lot of people here that don't even want to live here anymore because of what's going on with the local government. Gary?
Yeah.
And we're baby steps from losing everything, and nobody wants to get up and do anything about it.
No, they'd rather move, like you said.
Yeah, they'd rather move and just go to a different town.
It's better somewhere else.
It's better somewhere
Yeah,
else.
right. Not if you moved anywhere in rural Colorado, much less anywhere like we were talking earlier about rural America, you're basically going to find the same issues. It's like there's almost like a playbook that these communities go by, because it's like it's the same problems. It's just the different names.
Yep.
Well, it's the same corruption. Just you're absolutely right. Just different players. It's the same stage, just different.
But it's
players.
like there's a playbook, because it's almost all the same kind of corruption. It's almost the same kind of nepotism. They all follow the same pattern of self-serving themselves and neglecting their duties to the community.
Some take it a little bit further than others, Terry. I got to say that Bill Long guy, from what I hear, there's supposedly, allegedly, this guy pretty much bought up a shit ton of land and is running a water pipe through there.
I brought
supposedly, allegedly.
No, I have brought that issue up several times. He's on the Arkansas Water Valley Authority, I believe is what it's called, on top of being something else. My thing is I wanted to get all of the county maps of who owns what property and see how much, if any, weird bends or turns and what length of miles goes through not only Long, but Netherton's land up north of the county. I just would like to know, because this guy is trying to convince us to buy millions of dollars worth of aqueduct to bring water to a town that doesn't need water, while at the same time they're selling all the water out from under our county.
Exactly.
Colorado's free. So that's just like, why is America exporting oil and still buying it from the Arabs or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the sense in this? So that's just one of my problems with what's going on here with some of the people running for election here in Benton County.
And you're talking about that water coming down from the Fry Arc project.
Yeah.
That deal has been blown so far out of proportion from its original starting in 1965. They wouldn't even know what the early guys wouldn't even know what it looks like now.
Oh no, it's a pork project. It's nothing to pad pockets for certain groups and government agencies and landowners. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a conspiracist, because there is no conspiracy, because it's just about making money.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
So, you know, and unfortunately, the taxpayers end up holding the bill.
You know, and
again.
if you think that that we're not paying all that extra money, those big cities like Aurora, that's why these guys with all these big lobbies and stuff, that's why they're pushing this right now, is because they're going to end up with all that water anyway. And this is going to be one thing they're going to say, well, we're doing good for the people down there, so we can just rob them blind.
Oh, and no, that's what they've been doing, at least as far as I know, down here for the past 20 years.
Yeah, no, longer than that.
Well, no, just from my own personal experience. I can't, you know, I don't want to speak for something I have no actual experience with, but just from my own, because I was traveling through Los Animas long before I even moved here in the 90s, because one of the preachers that helped bring my dad here from Korea in the 50s was a minister in Los Animas when the prison opened up in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I would stay here between my drives from back home in Oklahoma and going to art school and stuff in Denver in the 90s. So I remember when they put the Dairy Queen thinking, oh, wow, Los Animas is going to grow. And that's all the business saw in 20-something years in Los Animas was Dairy Queen.
And for those of you guys who don't know, does Bill Long still own that Dairy Queen?
No, he sold it a few years ago. Yeah. Yep. But see, I also found an article in the Washington Post where he was quoted as saying that the reason why there's only one Dairy Queen is because Los Animas is too small to support any real businesses.
That's BS.
Without mentioning that he owned the only business in town.
Right. Yep.
Right. Yeah, that's BS, man. I noticed that all over the place. Those towns, they could have businesses, but it's just run seriously. It seems like anybody that's on the boards or anything seems to be on the business aspect as well. Like they own the businesses or something.
Yeah.
Especially out here with like the real estate. There's only one real estate company out here. One. I mean, there's realtors, don't get me wrong, but down here, there's only one real estate company, and you have to go through that real estate company, you know, and that person just so happens to own this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. And that just seems to be the way it goes. It's like once a family, and I'm going to say family because it's so small out here. It's families, big names running these towns all over Southern Colorado, and it seems like they all just like, hey, this is how you do this.
It's basically the same 4 or 5 families in every county.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, man.
And their cousins and their uncles and their in-laws.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're the ones that serve all the other smaller civic seats. You know, nepotism and cronyism is so just disgustingly overused down here, man.
Yeah, it's prevalent. That's for sure. It's everywhere you look.
So can I ask you guys a question? Do you guys have to get blood tests out here to get married?
I don't know. I got married. Well, I got married here. No, I got married in Oklahoma. So no, I don't think so.
No, you don't have to get blood tests out here to get married because it sounds like the gene pool is so fucking shallow. You dive in and you don't even touch water.
Yeah.
It's because they're not enforcing. It's because they're not enforcing the law where you can't marry your first cousin.
Yeah. You know, in 2001 when I got married, no, we didn't get a
Well, no, because I used to live in Pennsylvania, and for real in Pennsylvania, you have to get a blood test to make sure that you're not related.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I also believe that there are certain blood types that if the partners don't match, it could lead to potential health issues.
Yeah.
But I'm no doctor. I only play one on TV.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm no expert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
There you go. Now you're set to take on the world.
Right? Taking over the world. So what other issues do we have out there, Gary? Like what can you bring up that you think is a very big issue that needs to be heard or needs to be brought out into the open out in that area?
Well, and it's not just our area, it's everywhere, but it's this homelessness deal that really has me frustrated. And you know, I don't know whose brainiac idea it was to take Fort Lyon away from the vets and stack it full of homeless people. I just don't get it. But
I think Bill Long had something to do with that.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he
Yeah.
did. And so, of course, as by the way, I also I own rental properties. So I have a lot of rental properties here in Rocky Ford and La Junta, and we tried, as being the good citizens we are, try to rehabilitate these guys. Let's see if we can get them in the real world and make them, decent, productive citizens. And we tried lots of times in their program, and we have about a 6% success rate. And
Wow.
That's what's frustrating is the guys that don't make it. Everybody that I had to kick out because they couldn't make it. Guess what? They were kicked out into the streets of La Junta. Right from the courthouse on 3rd Street, right out to Main Street in La Junta.
Oh yeah, they literally drop them off right in the middle of our town too, since we're right down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
here's the thing: I believe because, like you said, you have problems with helping them rehabilitating or getting them to appreciate what you're doing. Because I think it's a failure of Fort Lyons because they don't really give a damn. All they want is a check.
Yeah.
And everybody they put in there is a check.
Exactly.
And as long as they can make it look like kids do, Mafia 101. As long as you make it look like you're doing some kind of labor, you can put a price on it.
Yeah.
And if you get to set the price, like grant writing, all these grants, all these certain individuals keep writing.
Heck yeah.
You get to set the price in the agreement for how much of that percentage of the grant you get.
Yeah.
That you get to debate and apply for that. People don't realize that.
Yeah. And I know you being from Los Animas, Terry, I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of being a dumping ground for these big cities. And that's exactly what Fort Lyon is a dumping ground from Denver, Norton, the big cities. And I'm getting tired of it because, sure, the amount of money that Denver has spent on these guys coming down, I'm going to say it's probably in the tens of thousands of dollars per person.
Oh, yeah.
And they're happy to pay it. Their citizens are happy to pay it because guess what? They're not on their street. So they're down here.
Well, our sheriff here in Benton County 6, he sure likes bringing prisoners down from other places.
Heck yeah,
he admitted he likes the fact that he gets paid. I think last time I heard it was $65, $85 or something like that a day for everybody he packs in there.
And that's what frustrates me about our sheriff over here. Mobley. He, as soon as he took office a few years ago, I don't know that we ever housed one person after that because he doesn't want to mess with it. It's just easier to send him down to you guys and just pay the bill.
Yeah. That's and we don't have a municipal police department here in Los Animas. Thanks to Bill Long. Again, thanks to Bill Long, assigned IGA with the sheriff's department, which is basically unenforceable. Nobody wants to enforce it. Yep. And we're paying now, I believe, close to $500,000. And the sheriff would argue with us about hiring a dog catcher. Well, we finally hired our own code enforcement guy, which they didn't like because that was money they didn't get.
Yep.
But I think they still owe us. When I was on city council, we paid them for hiring one extra personnel to do the paperwork that they said was overloading their office from enforcing the law within the city limits of Los Animas, right?
Yeah.
That seat remained empty for 2 years, yet we still paid for them to hire somebody. And I don't think we ever got any of that money back. And he still says I think he said he only has 4 deputies.
Yeah.
Or something ridiculous like that. And by law, don't you have to have a minimum of 5?
I don't have a clue when it comes to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking questions. But I'm just saying.
We might hire in there. And then me and you people might have to hire in there with Jake, inside guys.
Well, I mean, they need 2 dispatchers. And if I wasn't so disabled, I would sign up. Because it says no experience, no education, hell, fresh out of high school, be a dispatcher.
Until you go for the job, and then they won't give it to you because who knows? You're not the right. I don't know. You're not the right color or what.
Oh no, he knows I'm not necessarily a friend of the Benton County Sheriff's the way they function.
And you're not the right family.
Especially when he created kind of like a citizens board, and the way you had to do is you had to actually go through the sheriff's department to get on the board.
Yeah.
The sheriff screens you.
Yeah.
And that's a form, in my opinion, that's a form of intimidation. Because in a town like this, it's very easy to get singled out.
Exactly.
Which I'm finding out even more and more every day.
Who's going to oppose him, guys? Who's
Hey,
going to oppose
imagine what the
a dictator like that?
ad for that job description looks like. If you're looking to get blind in one eye, beat so that your sheriff deputy can take 6 felony charges in the state of California, please apply for Benton County Sheriff Deputy.
Yeah.
He'd fit right in.
Yeah. If you just want to be a thug and a goon and play Texas Walker Ranger, please apply now. You know,
I'm down. I'm down for that cowboy hat and those jeans. And
I want to ride a horse.
Button-up shirt. I'm down.
You got to have pearl snaps on that shirt.
Hell yeah! And it's
Hell
got to
yeah.
be like plaid. It's got to
Of
be plaid
course.
too.
Of course.
It's got to be plaid. And not that red and black plaid shit. No, it's got to be like that green, like lime green,
Yeah.
yellow, like multi-different color
orange.
plaid.
Hey, and let's not forget the government has helped subsidize some of the vehicles that Jake has over there, along with some of the firearms.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. Last time I talked to him, he said they had 2 MRAPs, and that was when he first got elected. And that's
Straight up, because I can tell you right now, I have pictures that show more than 2 of those. As a matter of fact, I think there's actually more than even 4, which is what they're trying to take credit for.
Jesus.
And they were given M14s, and I believe they were also given sidearms. So again, these are the things that they're being given through the government programs. So, you know, it's funny they like to hide those.
He didn't like it when I told him I did not support a militarized police department. It makes no sense.
You know, and that's the thing. And even, you know, the sheriff's department, you would think that the state patrol would have all this gear. And no, they're kind of, for the most part, they're kind of civil guys, but you start getting to the sheriff's department and you can't get one of our deputies to get out of his car unless he has all the garb, the bulletproof vest. I mean, he's got you know, thousands of dollars worth of stuff hanging off of him.
But where's the body cam?
It's probably there, but he's not gonna show it to you for sure. Unless you probably, even if you get to court, you're still not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because I know that was every time we mentioned body cams, Jake had talked about how he didn't have enough money for a body cam, but then they got a new secretary in. You know, we just hired a new secretary because we can't, for some reason, keep a female working in the same office with us for longer than a year and a half.
Yeah.
Before they're running off to Trinidad with the sheriff's chasing after her. You know.
I'm curious. You guys just said that they don't have body cameras for Benton County, but yet when the 2 deputies were in California picking up the prisoner, they were running body cameras.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a bit since I've talked to them, but I mean, I'm assuming hopefully they haven't, because isn't that kind of mandated?
Well, it should be, and there's grants out there, at least in the Rocky Ford Police Department. There's
it's
grants
the law
out there
now.
that's
It's the
paying
law
for
now.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have to have them. So
Jake
for
doesn't-
all you guys that are coming in here new, we got Gary Reed down here in the bottom right corner. LaHuntaRadio.com. You guys can check him out. He's there in the mornings. You can watch him from anywhere around the world. I see there's some comments in here about your beard.
Yeah.
Lou says that thing needs its own YouTube channel.
Heck yeah. That'd probably be the only thing to make any money. And the truth is, I don't care what all these you talk to all these beard guys and then they do the fancy stuff, you know, and the trimming and you know, there's thousands of dollars worth of products you can put on these things. The reason I have is because I'm lazy. That's it. That's totally it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and razors cost too damn much anymore.
Everybody like razors.
The Dollar Shave Club is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Not what
No,
it used to be at all.
I still have my granddad's old safety razor with the double-edged blades in him. Still costs like $3 for 10 blades, and they last forever.
I have my grandfather's, like, one of the first fucking like electric razors that you had to leave plugged into the wall. Like,
Yeah.
this thing is freaking antique as shit. I still have that. It still works too. I
Wicked.
haven't used it on my face, but it works.
The thing is, you can't go anywhere and get blades for that thing because they have them under lock and key. You probably got to throw out an ID to buy those things.
Yeah, probably. Right. I just get it through Amazon when I need them. But I hate to say it, but I'd rather spit. I don't know. It's easier than dealing with the other stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Old school shaving. Until my hands got bad, I still used a straight razor. I had one from the late 1800s that I found at a secondhand store that I used until my hands got bad. And that's the best shave I ever got, was from using a straight razor. So, but then I'm old now, so that shows that.
Yeah.
But, I just want to again say I really appreciate everybody, for what they're doing in their own communities. And, I hope that we can inspire people to really start asking questions and starting to feel more empowered and realize that the true power does lie in the hands of the average citizen, the average voter. That's why our founding fathers set up the Bill of Rights and Constitution the way they did.
And a protest here and there never seemed to hurt,
No, by no means. I'm all about.
I mean, just the other day, I was in the newspaper we had a protest. We showed up, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 of us around 4:00. Well, by 4:30, the town hall was closed down and they weren't having their meeting.
I was so shocked when I saw that.
Sometimes it's that simple. 4 or 5 people show up. Yeah, Gail was there.
So I'm not surprised they called the meeting at all.
Yeah, no, but see, there was alternative motives there because when they had the next meeting, which was only a couple days later, and we all have to remember that the meeting was shut down due to a word we can't say on here, the C virus. It was shut down because of that. But then all of a sudden,
was it quarantined?
Well, no, they didn't quarantine it. And in fact, they had their meeting a couple days later, and then they talked about how much money they got from that incident in the next meeting, because they got money from closing down the meeting for that reason.
Yeah, they're just trying to soak up what's left before they quit giving it away or it all runs out.
No, wait a minute.
They're trying to get their hands on any type of money right now, Terry, because at this point they're completely freaking broke. In fact, that money is what's paying the payroll.
That's what I was going to say. They just need all the money they can grab.
Right?
Yeah, but I thought I heard Erlinda saying that $35K that they got from the C fund was what was left from the actual fund from 20 whatever when they were issued that money. So that's actually the back end of something that was already issued, from my understanding, right?
Oh, you're right.
I don't know. I may have missed that. I may have missed that.
That's very possible, because I do remember you were allowed to keep some, but you had to use it it like kind of had an expiration date. It had to be used within like so many years, I think, or within a certain time period.
Well, they spaced it out. They gave them X amount of dollars here, here, and here, and the money had to be used, like you were saying, but they gave it to them in increments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this $35K that they were given was part of the increments that was awarded to them from the original C fund.
Right, like an installment plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they could have dipped into this a while ago. Is that what you're saying? Like the money's been there the whole time?
I'm saying that the way it worked is it was I can't remember if it was state or federal, and I think it might have been the federal or whatever. However they got the money dispersed, They were given it was given to them in increments. So say for the sake of argument, year one, they got, say, $50,000, right? Year two, they would get 40,000, and in year three, 35,000. That's how they did it. They did it in the increments in certain payments. So
Yeah, but they talked about
bank
this was the
account
first. They talked about this was the first payment of 3 that was coming to them.
no. This was the last payment on
The last payment of 3. Yeah,
Last
it was
payment
the
of 3.
last.
Yep.
Whose bank account you think it's in?
Clearly not Aguilar's.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
even
gonna have
was
to-
even
I'm
if
gonna
it
have to
was,
go back. I was there,
because
and
it-
maybe I misunderstood everything. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
well, even if that money is there because of what it was issued for, Aguilar couldn't use it to pay their debts. It could only be used on specific items. I happened to be in city council during the 2020s, 2021. So I watched how we squandered our money. Hell, our mayor was ready to give some of it away to the county for no reason because he didn't want to go through dealing with trying to figure out how to spend it because they had made it so complicated. It's like, you could spend, like, I got family, got them to where we could buy sinks that were untouchable, where you didn't have to touch the sinks. But of course, they only went to the public works building. I wanted to go to the library, city hall, places where the public gather.
Yep.
They're not cheap. Not only, I still think they still haven't put one in, as far as I know. They haven't put in 2. But, and I remember we also bought 3,000 body bags, the county did. And I don't know how many masks. And then they stored them in a building that, oh my God, it leaks. So now all it's all moldy.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I wonder where all that went and what came to fruition from any of that money.
It
Everywhere.
all went bad.
Yeah, from Aguilar, I wonder where it went. We don't have any no-touch
Yeah.
sinks. We don't have
Like a
any
small town like Aguilar, 500 people. I think this one was 33 and some change or something, So if they did 4 infusions like that, I don't see a single thing in town that was improved for that money, guys.
Who's your
And
county
I'm sure that's
seat?
everywhere, right?
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
Who's your county seat in Aguilar? What county?
We're out of Los Alamos County.
Okay, so who holds the county seat? What city?
It'd be Trinidad.
Trinidad? Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're the county
Yeah, it's
seat for
Trinidad.
Benton County. And we're the actually only city, quote unquote, in Benton County.
Well, yeah, pretty much when it comes down to it. Los Alamos County, you got Trinidad, and then Huerfano County, you got Walsenburg.
Yep.
Those are both the seats, and they're pretty much the only cities.
Yeah.
So for the whole counties, and those are the biggest counties in the state.
Yep.
Yeah, land area wise, yeah.
Yeah,
Big
land
for
mass.
nothing. Yeah, that's crazy. And the thing is also because, like we talked about, how it's always the same intertwining group of individuals. And this is my thing. What I'm getting ready to try to deal with this election is they've been pulling this stuff for so long that I believe that eventually they're going to get lazy and stupid, and they're going to take for granted that things are just going to work out their way.
So here in Aguilar, we're dealing with this right now, Terry. We have the last meeting. The new mayor says, this is a new board and a new mayor, and we just need more time.
Yeah.
Right. And they've been stalling like this for months and months now. Now, when you look at the board, there's only one person up there who hasn't been seated prior to. So you've got, 5 or 6 members up there that have all been in their positions that they're in currently, and they didn't do any better then than they did now. So what are we giving them time for?
Yeah. No, I agree.
The last meeting, guys, the mayor openly announced in the meeting that we have $155,000 missing. Just missing.
What the hell?
And that's what they're telling us, right? So imagine what's really missing.
Yeah.
Well, what else is missing from the meetings, though, GCM? And I think it's kind of telling is the fact that the mayor along with the rest of the board, know of at least a minimum of 4 lawsuits that are being filed against the town. And I haven't heard word one about any of them.
Exactly. Exactly. But then, as GCM says, the town's business isn't the town's business.
Yep.
Well, I can understand them not discussing what's going on with as far as the substance of the lawsuits, but they could have at least notified the townspeople that they were being sued.
Yeah.
Right.
John, these people couldn't even notify the town when their drinking water was almost out of their reservoirs. Like I've got videos of them. I haven't put them out, but these people didn't even notify the town that they only had like about, maybe an inch of water at the bottom of their reservoirs here recently, and it took 3 days for them to fill up. They didn't notify their town people that, because that's not town business. We don't need to let the town know that, we had a major leak somewhere, or somebody let out water somewhere, or but we can let them know about it. We can let the people know about a poodle that was found. No worries on that one.
Yes.
Don't forget the goats.
That's what we get.
Don't forget the goats. They have no problem letting people know that their little mini pygmy goats got out, but we're not going to tell the town about their water.
And then they're going to sneak like they have in the past to fill the reservoir, sneak water in.
No, they didn't even sneak water in this time, Gail. They just let it. They just let the tanks fill straight from
no testing this month. So we don't need to sneak no water in.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's why everybody here's sick.
So when you guys are talking about filling your reservoir, those are tanks that you're talking about, or what?
Yeah, they're 2 big reservoirs. So they have 2 tanks that are run on a gravity feed.
Yeah.
And one tank is seriously probably about the size of an Olympic swimming pool, if not bigger, if that gives you any idea of how much water is in there.
Yeah.
And then the other tank is roughly, it's got a good amount of water in it as well. I'd say about 2 swimming pools, regular swimming pools worth of water. And if one tank goes empty, the other tank goes empty. It's not like one stays full while the other one empties out. So you had both of those tanks pretty much empty out to almost nothing. And then nobody could locate a leak. Everything seemed to be fine. You know what I'm saying? The water started filling back up, and it took 3 days to do it. And I've got video clips on it. So took 3 days to fill up both those tanks, and they didn't even bring up a single water tank this time, Gail. They didn't bring up a single water truck this time.
It's because they couldn't afford it.
Well,
right, and it'll fill on its own. If you don't have that water testing coming up, there's no need to really help it fill.
Well, aren't they still on the restriction though?
Well, what? No, see, that doesn't mean anything, John. The water tanks don't mean restriction. The restrictions is that people can't water their lawns, people can't water haul. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't get water taps, stuff like that. But as far as filling up their tanks for drinking water and stuff, I guess that has no bearing, John.
According to Erlinda at the last meeting, didn't she say, and I might have misunderstood, didn't she say we're coming off water restrictions in November?
No, she was underneath the understanding that once the augmentation pond is done, we're off water.
Oh, that's right.
And
the government don't have a clue how anything works, but they're the ones running the shit.
Yes.
Right. And the way that it's actually working is it was a 2-part restriction on the water restrictions. So yes, if they had good tanks and they got the augmentation pond done, then they would be off of their water restrictions. Unfortunately, the augmentation pond is not even complete. It needs to be completely redone. And then on top of that, once that's done,
but they said we fixed the tanks though.
Right. They said that they fixed the tanks, but they're still underneath. They're out of compliance on those tanks. In fact, one tank is definitely condemned. It should be condemned. It should not be, in operation.
I don't even know how it's holding water.
But it's they're
gonna
still
fall.
running this system. So they need
Yes.
2 new tanks before they can get off of water restrictions. They have to fix the whole water system before they get
And
off
those
of water
tanks ain't cheap.
Maybe they
No.
should bring back the grant writer. Maybe he can fix it. Him and his wife.
I know our major reservoir here, our main tank here, we have to do a little bit of roof work on, just some maintenance just to keep it up because these structures they take a lot of punishment. They don't last as long as for the money you spend on them. They don't last quite as long as you'd like them to.
Right.
So, and I would always rather pay for preventive maintenance than wait till everything goes belly up.
No.
We need
No,
you here. Come here. Come to Aguilar.
What's preventive maintenance? Aguilar doesn't know what preventive is. That like borderline domestic violence?
Apparently, I'm not sure. I'm beginning to get confused myself.
I'm not sure that any of them understand preventative maintenance. I don't care how big you are. Most municipalities, I don't care what size they are, there's no preventative maintenance. It seems like it's always from a crisis to crisis.
Yeah.
I
That's
agree.
frustrating.
Well,
Exactly.
I mean, the town could be over 100 years old. In fact, this one is well over that. It's got lead piping all over the place. I mean,
We're the
in
same
fact,
way.
You
in
know,
fact,
I see a connection though there, Gary, because we just ran Aguilar completely out of money to where there was $1,500 in the bank account and multiple months of bills unpaid.
Yeah.
To a whole lot of money. I'm not even going to put a figure on it. But what happens then is, like you say, crisis to crisis. Well, that's what they claim. They claimed it as a crisis, even though, in my opinion, it was probably intentional. But the state bailed them right out. Oh, here you go. Here's some new cash.
Well,
Sorry.
let's also talk about the $200 and almost $25,000 that was paid out last month, right? When they didn't have but $1,500 in their account, and it was paid out, but we never voted on by the council members, like was adopted.
Right?
Yeah,
I still want to know where that came from.
Gary, we pay our bills and then we have the board approve it.
Yeah.
That's how we do it here.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think that's a lot of them. And in Rocky Ford, they actually had to put into our statutes where you can't. So we have a $5,000 limit. Anything over $5,000 has to be okayed by the city council, unless it's an emergency, and then they can dip into it, but they still have to explain it after the fact. Like if something happens on a weekend, we can spend the money, but Monday morning somebody's got to account for it.
Right.
So what was happening here was our departments were taking that $5,000 and they want a new vac truck, or they want to spend $50,000. Let's put in 10 work orders for this thing or whatever, and then we don't have to worry about going to council to get okayed for the expenditure because it's under the $5,000. We had to pass a law that says they can't do that.
yeah.
Well, thank God you still have the ability to pass a law to stop that kind of stuff. But that's what I try to remind people here again. It goes back to we have the power. We just have to do it in numbers.
Yep.
You got to remember back in the old days, everybody grabbed a pitchfork and a torch and went to the castle.
Yeah.
And said, "We've had enough of your monster making. You got to go."
Yeah. I've been there with not with so much, but with the sports per se, but I have spent quite a few council meetings with the city policeman sitting behind me.
Yeah.
So I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when I used to watch some of these meetings, even out there in La Junta and stuff, I mean, pretty much this is all I saw with any of the councils.
Yeet, skirt, yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt, roll up, yeet, drop that, yeet, skirt that, yeet, pop that, yeet, hey, hey,
That's pretty much all I saw up there, man.
It's,
It's just a giant
pretty,
fucking
pretty
show,
close
bro.
to a circus. Yeah.
I will give you credit. That is a fair interpretation.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Aguilar meetings get thousands of views, man. Like there's only 500 residents in the whole town, man, but you're guaranteed thousands of views because, well, they just cannot get their shit together.
Well,
You know?
everybody likes to watch a freak show,
It
Yeah.
is
you know.
And 5 cops at the last meeting, which was
five
what,
cops. 5 cops, guys. She's not bullshit. They had 5 sheriff deputies there for the last meeting.
Yep.
And how
Well, that's
many
good.
people were there? Maybe 10, 15?
Yeah, not even.
And what did they present to the public? Did they present anything to council, or did they just sit there to look nice?
Oh, they're at every meeting.
But they don't present anything. There are no reports.
No, we just pay them for security purposes.
Yeah.
Oh my
that's-
God!
So that way the council can say, I want him removed, and the cops can look at him and say, well, he hasn't broke the law.
So they need
Yeah.
5 people. That's
Well,
five.
yeah.
I mean,
5
I
guys
mean,
getting
They were-
checks.
They
Well,
were
that's part
that
of the
scared
council's-
last time.
That's
They
part
were
of the
that
council's
scared.
shit show, right? It's like that's part of the circus. It's like
Yep.
they pay the security to show up and do nothing because they can't do anything. We're not breaking no laws, guys. You
Yeah.
know, redress of the government is not against the law. I mean, I just
well, hold on.
I don't know.
You can't.
They
you
sure do
can't go
pay
in
them
there-
a lot.
No, you can't go in there and tell them fuck. You can't. And then they're
Yeah.
especially afraid, Gary. They're especially afraid of our sponsor.
I can't begin my day until I've had a Dickens cider.
There's nothing better than waking up to a good old Dickens cider.
My girlfriend loves Dickens ciders. My sister came to stay with us for a month, and my husband couldn't go a day without the Dickens cider.
My girlfriend loves a Dickens cider.
My mum loves a Dickens cider.
My sister loves to wake up in the morning with a Dickens cider.
I'm a bit young, but I would love to try a Dickens cider.
So there you have it. For over 150 years, Frederick von Dickens has developed a beverage that literally brings women to their knees. So fellas, for the sake of the economy, get a Dickens cider.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Dickens.
Yeah, they don't like us going up there and trying to tell people about our sponsors. They really don't like that. You can't say fuck.
No. No. And you can't chalk. That's against the law too, they say. So yeah.
Yeah, that's jailable offense out here. Gary, what's your opinion on that? Do you think somebody should go to jail for chalking a sidewalk?
No, I don't. You know, of course, obviously,
But it said,
vulgar-
Gary, it said, I give you the context. It said tyrant, aka cum slut dumpster. That's what the pictures I seen said.
I don't see anything wrong with that. To go to jail or threaten to go to jail?
4
Yeah.
charges. There was 4 charges for that.
They
Well,
charge somebody with that or what?
Yeah, they charged somebody with that, 4 charges and jail time. In fact, the sheriffs were quite surprised because the bail money reached the jail before the inmate did.
Huh. Man, that just blows me away.
Let's also point out the obvious, which is one of the main defenses to the charges that he's facing is the First Amendment. It says it right in the statute. It's hilarious.
well, technically, I think it would fall under the First Amendment, and because it's chalk, it's not permanent.
Not permanent.
Well,
And
in
it's
the
on a
victim,
public. The
victim
sidewalks are
of-
considered public space.
there was a victim though, Terry. The victim was Tyra Avila, the town administrator.
So she's
She-
a victim
she
of
said
someone's
that-
opinion.
Everybody knows that she's tyrant.
That's her,
I swear.
that's her opinion.
That's her opinion. Yeah.
That's her
Right.
opinion.
Right.
It is her opinion.
But that's
And
what they're running off of, gentlemen. That's what they're
It's her
running off of out
vanity.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, nobody likes to be called out when they're a rat.
it's
You
her vanity.
know,
Oh my god.
it's just some people are just crasser than others. That's all.
But again, that's a charge in redressing a government agency.
Well, that's your government starting to play 1984, and that's where it takes citizen involvement and citizen what I've been trying to start here is an oversight committee with citizens from different districts inside the town, to hold their representatives accountable for what they're not doing and for what they are doing.
Yeah.
But again, it's amazing how easily intimidated people are when they're faced up against people with lots of money and you have barely enough money to feed your family, much less try to do what's right by everybody.
Well, the problem is, Terry, is that the people with those money can put those people without money in jail and ruin their lives completely. Whereas the people with no money can't touch those people with money, and their lives don't get ruined in any way, shape, or form until they meet me in Good Citizen. And then it's a different story. But,
you gotta shine a light on the roach, and that's what you guys do. Hopefully that's what we're all trying to do in our own communities. You know?
And that's what everybody should be doing. That's the duty of an American citizen. If you
agree.
Consider yourself a citizen of this country, then you have the duty to make sure that your government is acting correct. You have the duty to hold them accountable for their actions and not just go, it's all right. He's going to embezzle all that fucking money. It's all good.
Which, in my opinion, is part of the reason why they had the foresight to put in the Second Amendment.
Right.
Because you got to remember they were running away from an oppressive government, a king. And the only way you could fight them is if a private citizen had a weapon, because they didn't have an army of their own originally to start out with. They were still a British colony.
Yeah, but you also have to remember those were the same people that fucking pretty much destroyed a ship and all their tea over a 3% tax. These are the same people.
The good old days.
These are the same people that created a government that did not want their people taxed. So they set it up to where they could not be taxed. And then later on down the fucking line, they ended up changing it so we could be taxed in 1913 when they took away
Washington's
all the war bonds
whiskey
and
tax. It was Washington's whiskey tax, which his excuse was they needed to pay the French back for the war.
No. This is way after that. This is back. This is from 1913 when they took away the war bonds. Do you remember what war bonds are?
Right.
Okay. So and for the people that don't know, that was a thing set in place to where if the military wanted to go and do something, if they wanted to go to war, it was funded by the people.
Publicly. Yes.
Right. It was funded by the people. You got bonds. And those bonds were an investment. You could actually turn those bonds in later on down the line, possibly, and get your money back. It was an investment. Then they took that away from the people and they just said, well, fuck it. We're going to take your fucking money. What happened? Nobody stood the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then when nobody stood the fuck up, they said, all right, we're going to take a little bit more of your fucking money. Nobody stood the fuck up.
And when those people who did try to stand up, I guarantee you they were squelched by nothing but money.
Right.
Well, if not money, but threats or intimidation, or we go into the full blown, they just disappear. It all depends on who you're messing with.
Get found dead in your car.
Right.
In a park somewhere, what I'm saying? Suicide by bullet wound to the back of the head.
Right. So I mean, and that's where the downfall comes into play, and that's where everybody, and I can understand where people are afraid. They don't want to stand up against it because they're afraid of what's going to happen. But you know what? There's more of us than there are of them.
Yes.
There's more of us than there are of them. And if we all got on the same fucking page instead of fucking sitting here fighting each other, and we fought against them and the system that's screwing us over on a daily basis. I love hearing people complain on a daily basis. My groceries are too high. My gas is too high. This is too high. That's too high. I got taxes. I got this. I got that. I got this. I got that. But they never fucking once.
But they're still comfortable enough. They're still just comfortable enough,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It'll get better, guys. It'll get better. If we just sit here and do nothing, it'll get better.
Just trust them. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, trust them.
Yeah.
Gail, go ahead, Gail. Were you going to say something, Gail?
I was getting the dog off of my lap. Sorry.
Well, you know, and that's the thing is that people don't realize in being an older person, you know, growing up when it was still free range childhood, all your parents had to know is where you were at and be home when the street lights come on, you know. But people don't realize how fragile our system really is.
Yeah.
I mean, our right to vote could disappear with one signature of martial law or some kind of stroke of president or Congress.
Yeah.
And you are basically a prisoner of the state. You know, I mean, it's you know, the great experiment called America, I believe we set on a precipice, you know, basically like one in the Civil War. Do we stand united as a union, or do we allow ourselves to, unlike issues dealt with in the 1800s, do we allow this, you know, 1% of people to dictate how we, the people, should live? You know, and if you vote out these idiots,
But they know what's best for us.
of course, and that's why they're still there, which is why I believe we need term limits. As a politician, I insist on term limits.
Right.
Because you get too comfortable, you get too buddy up with people. I'm sorry, after so many paychecks and so many years, you kind of don't want to lose it.
No.
You know, so if you're just perpetuating more of whatever the hell you're doing at that time, which if you had a term limit, at least you could only do that for X amount of years before somebody else came in and had to see how long it took them to be bought off or whatever. You know what I'm saying, though? I think it breaks the chain of influence, per se, of outsiders if you have term limits.
Yeah.
But here, the new mayor seems to be already in somebody's pocket, and it only took what, a month?
Yeah, but this is a different story, Gail. This is more of a small town. It's about who you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people connected. We talked about that earlier. It's all family. It's all a web. They're all connected. You know what I'm saying? It's all in who you know down here. I mean, I'm pretty sure if it wasn't, I'm pretty sure even if it, you know, even if I didn't do this and I moved into this fucking town, I'd have a hard time getting a job. Not that there's a lot of jobs here. There's only 3 fucking places to work here.
Right.
And 2 of those places is technically 1. So you
when I become mayor, I'm going to make jobs for Aguilar.
Right.
Well, it only takes one person to tell the right people, and the next thing you know, you're blackballed.
Well, right. And I'm not going to be able to get a job here. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get a job here. So, I mean, that means I got to travel out of town here. So if I was an outsider moving into this town and the people around here didn't like me because of something I said or something I did, then I'm pretty much screwed in this area. You see what I'm
look
saying?
at Joe Boy up in Granby.
Well, to be
outsider came in, they didn't like him. He didn't like how he was being treated. You know, look what happens.
To be fair, you know, right now, three places.
I'm just telling you, man. Coloradans, we have a history.
I was laughing at your comment, but then I read this comment from Snark and Sass. She says, "You people, I hear Eric say your name every day." Oh man. So yeah, man, it's kind of crazy out there, Terry. I mean, I don't what can we do though? I mean, as a small group, what can we do besides what we're doing? I mean, you see the backlash, right? You've been through it. You see the backlash that we go through. Right.
Got my windows blowed out.
Right. Good citizen.
I mean,
good citizen has had his windows blown out. He's had at least a dozen guns pulled on him within the last year. I've had a few guns pulled on me.
Don't forget the threat to get a good old butt whooping.
Multiple threats include. Hey Terry, have you had an administrator put a hit out on you yet?
I wouldn't be surprised, but not that I know of. But I'm going to start
we've
probably
had that.
a
Check that
GoFundMe.
off of our bucket list.
I'm going to probably start a GoFundMe account for a ballistic vest. I have a lot of friends. I'm dead serious. I don't trust these, these yahoos with anything.
Oh,
You
man.
know?
Harry, don't show. No. See, you don't go and get the ballistic vest. What you do is you just walk straight up to him and look him square dead in the eye and tell him to do it.
Yeah.
It's not them
That's
I'm
what you
worried
do.
about.
It's not them I'm worried about. No, I got you, Terry. I'm just.
I mean, there's a whole. It's like a freaking spider web. There's a whole network of people who have something to lose if certain individuals lose their positions.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're the ones you have to worry about because nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of underlining things here, and we don't bring those things up because, again, it's not like we can actually prove it. But,
yeah, no.
But we like our supposedly allegedly.
Hey, I know we got
maybes.
30 posse strong out there in Bent County that definitely would hate to see their boy Jake go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, at least just by the off
Who
chance.
would give him M14s, Terry, if Jake wasn't there?
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I do not support a militarized police department. I believe that's how they figured out how to circumnavigate posse comitatus by militarizing the civilian.
Well, I'll
police
tell you
department.
exactly how that happened, Terry.
It's called a TV show called SWAT.
Well, what happened is the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, and that is what militarized our sheriff's departments.
Great.
We actually, John DeNicola has the contract. It's called a DR 1033, and we check with different departments on their DDR 1033 to see how many military vehicles they have acquired through the government, such and such.
A lot.
One thing about out there by you guys is the fire department using military vehicles.
Yes.
That is not part of the DR 1033 program, which means somebody let one of those slide, or two, we'll say two at least we know of, slide to hands they shouldn't have been in, allegedly, because that's not part of the program. That's not part of the program. It's for law enforcement use only.
And Bend County has a bad habit of losing our equipment because there a couple of years ago we had a Humvee that we apparently loaned to Rocky Ford, and within a week it was stolen and never found again. So, and then no one really pursued it because how hard is it to move a Humvee? A military, not just a street legal one, but a full-on military Humvee.
I could tell you some good stories about Rocky Ford's equipment getting stolen.
Oh, because of one of my friends, half of his stuff ended up in the pawn shops at Rocky Ford a few years back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this, like I said, this valley is not just as but even on the other side of the divide, basically southern Colorado. It's like they have a playbook. It's a web. Why do you think they're building this conduit all the way from Pueblo to Lamar? Everybody who owns property, all the big money people benefit from this. Agreed. They need to improve the water quality to some of these communities. But I guarantee you, the bottom line, there's a more cheaper and efficient way than how they're doing it.
You're probably right.
Terry, at least your equipment ends up in the pawn shop. Ours ends up in the sewer pond.
Yeah, I mean, it's just terrible.
That's the story.
Here's the way I'm looking at it. By wiping out an entire town, right? Because most of the people in Aguilar, from drinking the water, have come down with all kinds of sickness, ailments, whatever, because of the water quality. So, I mean, realistically, if you think about it, they are actually getting rid of them. They're just doing it slow.
Yeah, in one way. Yeah, you're right, probably.
One person at a time.
No, yeah, because if they're aware of it and not addressing it immediately as a health threat, then they're definitely are showing apathy towards the situation. Well, we can afford to have water purifiers put in our houses, so it doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
I don't care if my neighbor is starving with no heat and bad water. I need to have this fancy landscaping put in my house.
Yep.
You know, it's disgusting. Yeah, and like I said, it's almost like there's a playbook for all this rural communities. It's basically the same kinds of corruption, the same kind of nepotism, the same kind of cronyism. It's just different names in different counties.
Yep.
Same 4 or 5 families for the
Yep.
past
And
30, 40, 50 years.
And the government allows it. I mean, the state is fully aware of what happens down here, guys. We're just orphaned. We're on our own.
Yeah.
Well, again,
yourself a Pueblo? Figure it out on your own.
I think because we just, like we talked about earlier, we need to get more people involved. We need to start handing out the pitchforks and the torches and reminding people that you better use your right to vote because, by God, you'll lose it sooner than you know. It'll be gone. Something will happen.
Let me ask you, when's the last time ever that you saw a district attorney file charges against the sheriff? Because that's what's going on in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yes.
35 cases, 35 drug cases dismissed. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because they don't do their job right. And that's the kind of thing where you have to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. But they're so lazy and they don't hire the properly trained people, despite what they say, to do their jobs.
Right.
And that's why they get through. And you know that Jake, his department is the certified SWAT team for the Valley. He's the quick response team. He trains everybody.
He's a lot of things out there. Just like it seems to be a running thing here in Southern Colorado where people have like multiple hats.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there's something called conflict of interest somewhere in the middle of all that.
Right? That's what I'm saying. But you know, I keep seeing it all.
Well, because people aren't calling it out until now, honestly. In the 9 years I've been trying to do something, it's just been within the past year or two where I've seen people like you, other communities, and other citizens finally standing up and saying, I've had enough. You know, and it's going to be a snowball effect. It's not going to happen fast, but when it does and it gets big enough, they're not going to be able to stop it because you can't stop the truth. And there is something called the law. And so far, yet, nobody's above it. You know?
Well, I happen to disagree with you because there's a judge in Alamosa.
Well,
counties that begs to differ from you.
Well, I agree because we've got a judge who got busted trying to take cocaine through DIA twice, and he still has a seat. So, I mean, I guess there are exceptions to the rule, shall we say.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a few people in the audience that may want to get that number.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that number.
I want my get out of jail free
Hey,
card.
Ultraviolet.
I've been drawing from the deck long enough.
You know, we did here in the 16th Judicial District. We did finally get, but he retired. It wasn't that we got rid of him, but he retired finally. And
Who was that?
That was Judge Manley.
Oh, yeah, Manley.
Yeah.
He was the one that helped us write our pot laws here in Los Animas.
And if your pot laws are jacked up like Rocky Ford's is, then that's probably.
Yeah, I was on the board. They took hardly any of the board's advice.
Yeah. No, he's not there for taking advice. And he's the one that used to have to go through every time we'd do an eviction for one of my properties. And prior to 2020, he would the law was cut and dried in Colorado. You know, this is how it is.
Yeah.
You serve the 3-day notice. 14 days later, you had a court date, and 2 days after that, they were out. And then after COVID took over, he was the only judge that was handling evictions, and he went, and believe it or not, the guy owns property, rental properties, and he went from 180 degrees turnaround on that guy. You couldn't get him to kick out anybody to save your butt, and it was frustrating for us because now not only will the judge not issue the eviction, in the case that he does issue an eviction, then the sheriff thinks that they have 49 days to act on that writ of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I'll bet you 10-1 that judge made sure that anybody he evicted from his properties was out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, just the fact that anything happens, how fast that action took place, as opposed to them actually getting something really done.
Yeah.
You know, they should have moved forward with that agenda. But when it came to, like, let's say you, for example, as a property owner, wanted to kick somebody out, they're going to drag your ass around as long as they can because they're making money off it no matter what.
You know, and I don't know how you guys feel about Governor Polis, but ever since he's taken office, we have went from one of the most landlord friendly states to one of the just again 180 degrees to where you can't kick anybody out. It's like you might as well be in California.
Well, I was gonna say that's the Californication of fucking I-25 corridor.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not on the I-25 corridor, or you don't have a major university in you, or you don't have a ski resort within 30 minutes of where you're at, we'll talk to you in a little while.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so I mean,
Terry,
yes.
I'm gonna correct you. It's not California. It's California.
California. All right, I'll accept your explanation, your definition. Oh my gosh. No, I mean I lived in downtown Denver for almost 20 years, from 1990 to about 2012, 2000, yeah, about then. And I watched it to where it go from, you know, the small city and the big city feel to basically just $1 million condos made that they put up in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
I'll say
You know?
I got two things to say. First off, fuck you, slow burner. Jared Polis, he did us a favor as far as our activism goes. You know, he enforced the body cameras. That was huge. The Law Enforcement Integrity Act is what it came out as, and it actually went into effect at the beginning of this year. It has been super, super helpful for us. I mean, we get our body cameras a lot sooner now. There's a lot more that they can't do to the body cameras to modify them. The fact they always have to be activated. So he started off like helping, and then, like you said, he just completely flipped on us. Now he's not helping us at all.
You're exactly right.
Well, again, I think that because of the money of outside influences, all these county families are going, hey, man, we're starting to lose our grip on stuff. We need to rally together and put some people going from door to door in the state capitol building, talking to our representatives to ensure that things get passed in our favor. You know, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to, is they have the money to go and influence our representatives directly, when it's difficult for even a lot of our community to contact them by email, because half of the elderly people don't know what the hell email is, much less on the internet.
Yeah. And then you're not going to call a number and get anybody.
No, you never do. We'll call you back. You know, leave a message.
And I don't know about the rest of you guys in these little small towns, but what I've noticed is, and believe me, you have to take each one of these things, you know, one at a time, because if we have an issue that comes up and they're trying to pass something, or they're trying to pull some wool over, you know, it's pretty easy to rally enough people to make the change, but it's only on that one thing. I mean, they'll do it, but then it's like the next one that comes along next month, you got to rally them again. And, you know, I just don't understand. It's
the lack of consistency is what bothers me. It's a lack of consistency. It's like, you know, you talk about eating people's pets, and every community's on fire, and they want to just,
exactly.
Yeah, heads were going to roll. But you talk about equity and, you know, developing actual dying, withering communities.
Yeah.
Well, we got to stop them from eating animals first.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I mean, I wish it was, you know, like everything else, there was a magic pill that everybody could take and voila, everything's better. But It's literally like, football. It's going to be an inch at a time. It's going to take teamwork like we've got here of us all talking about our own experiences. So that way, when we come up to those issues, we'll know how to approach them and save ourselves time in getting to the meat of the problem.
So I have a question going back to the Aguilar and the 150,000 or whatever it was that the DOLA had to cough up. The state had to cough up to those guys. There was no strings attached. I mean, they're just like, here's the money,
emergency funds.
No strings. no accountability that those funds ever got to where they were supposed to go.
Well, now they got the CBI and the FBI breathing down their neck because the FBI got involved because a good portion of that money that come up missing was USDA money.
All right, exactly.
And so they got involved, and then they requested CBI's involvement. So now they got the state and the feds looking into it.
FDA too.
If I was them, I would. I mean, yeah, sure. Here's 150,000 just to see where it goes.
Yeah, the cars don't. You can't sell your car for as much as you just paid for it.
Yeah, like
yeah, you're losing money.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's a lot more than that missing. It looks like. But,
well, that's like Sheriff Six coming up with $90,000 missing out of the prisoner account.
Yeah.
You know, what the hell?
100,000 here, 100,000 there. You know, no one will notice.
You know, and then the excuses he gives are all lies or illegal anyhow.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a meeting not long ago where on the meeting he basically admitted he was creating human rights violations through his conduct at the prison or the jail. I mean,
are you talking about the crate holes? No, he was giving them holes. He was giving them holes. They got holes through the holes.
Yep.
Big enough to crawl out of, apparently, too.
No. They had to cover that hole. So what they did is
I saw how when you all went, all the plywood that they had applied around the building that all walked around.
So instead of having to just walk out the prisoners, from what we were told at that meeting, is that he just stuck a piece of plywood up there, drilled some holes into it, and they can see sunlight from there.
Don't forget about the air conditioners.
Oh yeah, we need 20.
Oh yeah, all 21 of them. Yeah, yeah, 21.
There's only.
I don't think you could even get 10 units up there.
Well, I think we counted it
on that one building.
Yeah, I think there's like 8. No, it was like between 7 and 8 units,
and none of them work.
The aerial. Well, no, one of them works because
I know in the front.
Yeah, in the front, it was ice.
Yeah, the office one works great.
The offices are happy.
We can vouch for that. We keep asking for a tour of the Benton County Jail. We would check the other ACs, but for some reason, Jake will not give us a tour.
Well, it's a security issue. It's a security issue.
Right, blah, blah, blah. As a city council member, I got to go a couple times.
I told him I'll get a jaywalking ticket.
I told that's what we told him. I was like, listen, you can charge us with a jaywalking ticket. Just give me a tour of the jail. Even if it's in handcuffs, we don't care. We just wanted a tour of the jail.
No, you're not, because you're gonna see what's going on. I mean, I've heard, just stories of deputies. Pardon me, deputies living inside of the jail while they were between residences because they're kicked them out.
Yeah, well, not just deputies, but others as well living there on the jail property. But
their little private
I thought there was a guy in the. I thought that there was a guy in the property room.
Evidence locker.
Yeah. Perfect place.
We got stories for days about the Benton County.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So we
got a lot of moles over there, guys. So
yeah, well, I'm not surprised because if you've got half of a human heart, if you've got half a heart, you'd want to stop that crap.
Man, with 4 guys, how can he not find the mole?
I don't know.
It's too bad. It's too bad because he does have a couple good ones there, man. But he's got some terrible ones
They
there
can't,
too, right?
you know, but they can't keep him. You know, I mean,
No one wants to hire in, guys.
well,
Can't
no
imagine.
joke. Well, and those that do obviously have problems from the beginning. You
Right.
know, you're hiring unstable people to do a job that does not need you to be an unstable individual. You know,
It's a hard job.
But then, of course, the fact, even though Los Animas has an IGA with him, you know, he doesn't write tickets in the city. And now apparently he's mad at us again. And so he's basically said, I'm not going to let my sheriffs cruise your streets. Kind of like when Bill Long ran the buses. He owned all the buses here. And if the city didn't buy him a bus barn, he was going to quit leasing them the buses. You know, that kind of.
Isn't he technically doesn't he technically have a duty to do that though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's his problem. That's his property. You know, as far as I'm concerned. But no, the thing is with the people here in Benton County is that for some reason they feel entitled to the taxpayers' money to take care of their private endeavors.
Huh.
You know, kind of how we got stuck with the golf course, you know, and why, you know, certain individuals misrepresented issues to suddenly turn what was supposed to be only an $80,000 project into a probably now over $200,000 project just in 2 years.
Well, and ain't they getting ready to build that rec center too, or trying to?
Well, the deal is if Long and Hemphill get elected, they're going to do everything they can to funnel $2 million to McClave. Because I was there when they brought that idea forward, and the other county commissioners, besides McDonald, go figure, opposed it. And they're like, well, we just built a county rec center. Why can't you people get in your freaking brand new giant trucks and drive 20 minutes down the road, 15 minutes down the road? Right. And so out of spite, they basically evicted the county. So now all of our county equipment is sitting off the highway in an open field. Isn't that quaint?
Yeah.
I think that's so quaint. So, yeah, that's why Hemphill's running. Bill Long actually went around and went door to door getting signatures just to ensure Hemphill would get in there. You know, I mean, that's like back in the previous elections where Jake Six was going with certain candidates standing behind them while they were asking them to sign their petition to get them on the ballot while in uniform. What? What the hell's that all about? Yeah. You know? So, yeah, it's freaking far out, man. And that's why I really don't want us as a community to have to deal with this whole BS again. Once these people, we get rid of them, we need to make sure they stay gone.
Right. No one pays attention.
Well, you know, there's ways you just gotta keep nailing them, and sometimes you just gotta whack them a couple times before they snap out of it. You know, but I think eventually, especially when they really realize that there are people that are actually going to help make a difference, that they're going to start actually showing more support. I mean, I've seen more people now, like I said, in the past year, at least debating and discussing the issues more so than I have in the 9 years that I've lived in Benton County. So I'll take that as a win.
That could be a win, yeah.
Yeah.
Warning, the following video is extremely disturbing. You've been warned.
Talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. What about buttered sausage?
It's not your jam. It's not your thing. You don't like it?
It's not my jam. I don't buy jam. I buy honey, and I kiss it on the lips.
Got eggs. Oh, one more.
Come on, you motherfucker. Oh, shit.
God damn it, same shit, different day.
Oh man, we have a lot of fun picking on Jake.
Well, I mean, enjoy it while you can, because I hope that these investigations actually finally people take this crap seriously and people start being held accountable.
It's hard to get rid of a sheriff, man.
No, believe me, I know.
It is absolutely. It is.
That's why we got stuck with J6.
Yeah, I mean, you damn near have to impeach him. You know, that's
no. You have to have a recall vote because they're elected officials.
Yeah,
we had a citizen try that, and the pushback against him was so bad, he sold his business and moved out of town for a year.
Yeah.
I love recalls.
You know,
and you got to name somebody on the recall to replace them as well. So
yeah, they did.
That's not easy either.
I believe it was Insidious or whatever. I don't remember quite what it was, but it was like Insidious or Insidious or
there ain't a lot of good sheriffs out there, sadly.
No, because who wants to do it? It's terrible pay.
Well, the bad thing about it is it's our constitutional line.
Yeah.
You know, you can't expect the police to uphold your constitutional rights. You can ask them to, you can wish they would, but when it comes down to it, the sheriff is the constitutional line. So
yeah, well, when you're the only dog in the fight, then you can pretty much bite whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, without fear of repercussions. But I think that's where we stand up and we bite back, just by using their own idiocy as the tool of their own demise.
Yeah, and like somebody talked about earlier, is video, record. Sooner or later they'll hang themselves. It's just
they already have.
Yeah.
Especially Jake. That last meeting was just like, whoa! I can't believe you just said that. And then there was half the time this lawyer's like, well, I can't substantiate that, but I'll see what I can do and look into these.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
I can't substantiate anything he's saying right now, but I'll look into it. It's like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Right?
You know?
Oh, it was great.
God, I wish I had enough money to hire a lawyer to be stupid.
Right.
God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is.
I have one to recommend.
They definitely got the money. Yeah.
Well,
because they pull our money.
You get a lot of things going on when you're dealing with these different things, right? You get a guy like J6 who has and allegedly likes to instigate issues with his deputies. To me, that's not a leader. That's somebody who has some kind of narcissistic or sadistic traits.
Yeah.
Turning around and doing the things that he's been doing and getting away with. Now he's being challenged, and he doesn't like that he's being challenged. So the next step, in my opinion, is that he's going to snap back and he's going to go after those people that pointed out what's going on with his department failings. I mean, Selin is a perfect example. Selin was sent up to California to pick up an inmate with another guy and beat the hell out of him, causing the guy to go blind in one eye and get charged with 6 felonies up in California. For anybody that's concerned, he does have a trial date coming up, October 17th in California. I'm sure that we can get the name. I can't remember the name of the Superior Court out there, but he was arrested in Riverside, California.
But if I remember that story, didn't he beat the crap out of his partner? Wasn't that the deal?
Yeah. Yeah. He ribs. He punctured a lung, fractured his ribs, caused him to go blind in one eye. I believe shoulder damage, and probably a number of other things.
There was a lot of supporting information that goes with that case. Any reasonable person would know that he's guilty just from his own admittance. in the reports and such. So, but again, Jake's trying to get him off those charges, you know, because he's such a good cop, right?
Yeah.
That's who we need on the streets.
That's exactly the
when
kind
he,
of time we need on the street.
when he does that to the next person, likely a citizen, then Terry Kim's tax is going to be paying for that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Plus, wasn't he the canine officer?
Yes,
How much
that's
did that
why.
cost
That's one of the
him?
reasons they don't want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
You know, they used $20,000 out of the inmate fund to train him, and you know, another 10 to get the dog.
But,
so,
well, I guess the dog makes everything okay then.
yeah.
Bullshit, man.
So
That's
he's the
bullshit.
canine handler. They got a lot
Yeah.
of money tied up into him, so he needs to beat this
what a
case. you
scam.
see. Yeah, this is what we deal with, and you know, even when we get them, let's use Trurio as an example. Here in Los Angeles County, he tased that guy in the face. They tased that guy 33 times allegedly, right? He ended up suing civilly, and he got $1.5 million. Well, that cop, he ended up getting his post back, so he can go be a cop again somewhere. See, that's half the problem too. When they shouldn't get their shit back, they do. That's the state not holding accountability, you know?
Yeah.
And so where does that leave for us to hold the accountability? Because the state won't? I mean, like that, why the hell are we paying the state then?
Yeah, but even if you know that the guy is a bad dude, and you know, you can call the next place if you know where he's going, you can call over there, but they're not going to listen to you anyway.
Right. No, and it seems a lot of times that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
A lot of the departments that me and you people mess with, those are the ones that get promoted, you know?
Yep.
We usually start at the top and work our way down, because usually the top one is the dirtiest in most cases, you know? So
that's the truth right there.
yeah, so we just start there, and because that way the ones under them, if they are good cops and have been forced to do bad things by that higher up, well, that gives them a new chance to, and some have came around, you know?
Yeah.
So just because they've done some bad things don't mean that they're terrible people, you know? But we give some of them, you know, second, third chances. Being a cop ain't easy. I mean, I'm sure of that, but
no, I'm not trying to disrespect the job of law enforcement or the duties that come with such a job, but my concern is that with that job comes higher levels of expected conduct, you know, higher levels of self-responsibility, transparency.
Well, you're in a position to elevate yourself to be a hero as well, right? You know, like, I mean, you're out there.
But why do they always want to make
lives.
themselves the villain? That's what I want to know.
Right. That's it. That's
There's no
exactly
money
it.
in being a hero. There's
There is.
That's
There's
right.
no money in being a hero. Exactly that, dude.
No,
You know?
that's true.
All
Look
the
at
bad
us.
ones are getting paid from somewhere, man. Yeah. And they have their protections. They're usually the harder ones for us to get out of there. I mean, we're doing one in Alamosa right now, sergeant. The wife's gone. She resigned, but this damn sergeant, he's sticking like a sore thumb. He won't go. He just won't go away.
Well, nobody wants to let go of easy money.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, he's making 61,000 a year.
I mean, that's part of the reason why Santa Monica is having a city clerk issue, because everybody's trying to make money and not thinking about the repercussions of what we are facing. Yeah. Because city clerk is an elected position. If you don't live in the city, you can't have it. And the person they wanted to take didn't live in the city.
Well, that's weird because that's weird because that's a hired position here, apparently.
Well, from what I understand, we're one of the very last counties in Colorado that still makes city clerk an elected public seat. It's just no one's been taking it off the books.
I think in Otero County, our
they tried twice, but it failed. I'm sorry.
I said in Otero County, I think our clerk and recorder is an elected official.
Yeah, some places it is, some not.
I believe it should be. I mean, ours wasn't either. So, and she resigned, so that means we need a new clerk. And again, we're in the same boat. It's not going to be easy to find a new clerk.
No.
Yeah, pulling from 500 people, and then trying to, you know, if you trying to get somebody to come in from somewhere else, they're gonna look at that and say,
that's
can't
Sarah's
blame me.
fault.
And Gary, just to give you a little quick background, we haven't turned in an audit since 2018. We haven't done a budget
16.
since like 16. We haven't done a budget since like 2020. We don't, you know, like we're talking about the books are so bad that all we can do is build back from this last year forward.
Right.
Like that's who would want to hire into that the way that it was left.
Let's not forget the other options, right?
I did.
Which is the Chapter 9, which is the Chapter 9 bankruptcy that they're trying to hide, that they've been discussing, right? Let's talk about that part of it too. Is they've been talking about filing for bankruptcy because they can't come back from it. They know they can't, and for some reason they're under some kind of misconception because the state has been pretty clear up to this point, where the state has told the town straight up, until all your financials are turned in and up to date, we're not giving you anything. No tax money. So right now they get $165,000, I think, somewhere up in that area, that is tied up by the state until these audits are done.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Well, that's one
I
thing
think it's
about Los
closer to
Animas.
2.
We
I think it's
we
closer.
did audit it. We just took our audit last year.
It's
So
like, closer to 200,000 sitting there, all just that they cannot touch. It's locked up. So, I mean,
Well, that's what-
that's a lot of money the community could use.
that's what they keep saying about our pot money.
They'd
We
spend it in
can't
one
touch it.
shot.
And it's $1.4 million sitting in the bank.
So who'd they even get to do an audit, because, you know, they can't afford it to pay somebody.
Los Animas?
No,
Well, that's the
oh.
funny part, Gary. I'm glad you asked that question. You ready for this?
Yeah.
They were paying a company $5,000, I believe it was $5,000 a week or $5,000 a month to try and straighten the books out. And all they have done so far is drafts. There's nothing signed off. No CPA will sign off on any of it.
Paid like $100,000, 115 grand or something, and all it is drafts that nobody will sign off on.
Because nobody can reconcile the books. They couldn't even produce an actual bank statement from a bank.
That's crazy.
No, what's crazy is that they're getting loans and grants with all this money.
Yeah. Yes, Gary, would you loan this town $2.6 million?
No, and then the thing with 11, you know,
no.
If they were gonna do this, what do you think they're gonna pay for interest on anything that they're gonna do from then on? Right. Nobody's gonna want to loan you any money.
Hey, they actually talked about the interest, and it sounded like it was under $100,000 for 2 years interest on that loan. Not bad. So it's like 2.3% or something like that. Not bad. Yeah. But I mean, those poor folks ain't gonna get their $100,000, let alone their $2.7 million back. I'm just here to tell them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because they anticipated getting a USDA loan to cover that loan.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen that way. So it was like a total of like 6.3 million or something like that for an augmentation pond that was court ordered because of water rights.
Yep. And let's not forget about this little fun fact, okay? Here's a fun fact that the grant writer, right, I believe allegedly, and I'm going to use that term lucidly, but allegedly Ken Torres, who wrote the grant for the augmentation pond, also was the engineer for the pond. The problem here is the pond wasn't supposed to be filled with water until it was inspected. Well, the pond was never inspected. Go ahead, Gail.
Dog
She was,
again.
yell-
Sorry.
she was yelling at Creed.
Oh, so the pond was never inspected and water was put into the pond. And now everything that was done by the engineer's specifications is NG. So that means they have to start from square one with the pond and try and fix all the stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Inspected.
The inlets, the outlets, the drains, everything's in the wrong fucking spot, man. You cannot make this shit up.
All of which was signed off by the man who wrote the grant. Gets better. Guess whose company or whose wife's company was hired to do work on that pond?
Can't imagine.
Exactly. His wife. So you got Ken has a contract with the town as a consultant.
Hey, now he can get paid to do it again.
Where did the grant come from? Like GoCo or Seco?
No, that's the thing. It wasn't a grant yet. They were working on a loan, and they had to get so far to get the grant, right?
Right.
So they started with the grant process, but they had already taken out the loan to get going. Like kind of like if you're gonna build a house, right? You buy the land and you get a construction loan type deal. So something similar to that, right? But in a government format. Well, it all went to hell, dude. So
that's crazy.
They started getting some USDA grant money, but not in full. It's never come to fruition because the pond was never completed, and let alone was it not completed. It's completely wrong from what we're understanding here. So,
and we're over on water credits.
Yeah,
And
millions of gallons.
Let's not forget Mr. Baxter's $700,000.
Yes, he sued because he didn't get paid. He did what did he say? $3.1 million in work, and they shorted him $700,000 of that.
$3.18 million worth of work, and here's the best part: they funded it out at over $6 million.
Yeah, it was a $6 million something project, and he did basically the whole thing for 3.1, and then they still shorted him 700,000, and then made him sue, forced him to. So now the suit's over $1 million.
They spend more money not paying money.
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
I'm going through my head. You know, $300 or $400 an hour for a lawyer. And it looks to me like all there is lawyers down there making any money.
Yeah.
Getting
Well,
paid.
it gets better because the water lawyer, along with Mr. Torres, decided that they would take and they would discuss things that were discussed in executive session, and they took it to the newspaper. So they violated the Open Meetings Act by going to the
You can't make this shit up.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's one thing the problem with is our rec department's trying to pass something to get some kind of thing done. But anyhow, they had to have 3 public meetings, right? So they could let the public address it. Well, the rec board people said that, we erected the tent once during Santa Fe Trails Day and then the other one during, let's say homecoming. And we put a sign out saying, we want your opinion. And they went and hired some huge number crunching marketing firm to help back the numbers, right? Yeah. And what I want to know, though, technically, if they didn't put a 7-day notice that there was a public meeting, does putting up a tent and a questionnaire qualify as a public meeting? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're trying to say they're trying to push the grant through so fast that they're trying to say that those 2 tent things met the criteria of 2 of 3 meetings needed before they could move forward with the GoCo grant.
Well, if they do anything like Aguilar does, Aguilar apparently has phone meetings away from the public, so that way nobody knows what's going on. But they have enough for a quorum. They have enough for a decision and a vote and whatever behind the people's backs. And then they just get stuff done that way.
I just got put on the board like 2 weeks ago, and then last Monday, no one responded or returned my request to be able to get into the meeting. I was completely ignored by everyone because they conveniently did it somewhere where there was no ability to Zoom. And I said, I'll do it by speakerphone. And they still wouldn't respond. Because Sonny's on it, and Sonny knows I'm tired of him wasting our money.
Well, allegedly, there's a board member who not only is kind of being X'd out by the new regime, but they've gone so far as to not even bother handing them agenda packages lately. So,
probably the same person I'm talking about then.
No, different person. This is down here in Aguilar, and they gave him a package, John. It was sitting in front of his empty chair. This meeting.
Nice. See, I mean, the problems are so similar. I didn't know if you were talking about my town or your town.
That's why we said it's all over.
They got a playbook. I'm telling you, they got a playbook.
Right?
Do we need to burn it?
Oh, more than that.
Take their cheat sheet away.
Yeah.
Right?
You know?
Damn.
And it's amazing for these people that are in power that, seem to run these things. Every time you ask them something, they say they don't know, but then they know everything about what you asked about. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all we can do, guys, is have conversations like this. And, I appreciate you guys all coming up here tonight. And talking. I mean,
thank you for allowing
it all
me
starts somewhere, right? Like,
I do have one more thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, GCM. I do have one more thing that I'd like to discuss as far as the town of Aguilar. They also brought up an item that kind of raised the neck hairs on the back of my neck the other night about the attorney. And the attorney they were reaching out to was from Sheridan. Well, I happen to know a little about Sheridan, Colorado, and I happen to know that the city manager, Granberry up there, in the middle of a meeting, decided that he was going to pass an ordinance up there, essentially making it illegal for you to record in the public areas of the town hall and the police station, and that it would be illegal to record the employees of said police station and town hall. Now, mind you, he based it off of, I think it was CRS 18-19-117, which is a time, place, and manner restriction, which really I don't think would apply to either one of those places. But there was no motion for this ordinance. There was no second to the motion. There was no discussion on it. There was no vote on it. He just signed it and passed it. The attorney for the town of Sheridan allowed that to go through. This is the same attorney that they're talking about bringing into Aguilar.
Yes, sir.
So I think that the people of Aguilar should be aware of the people they're dealing with, because this is the same attorney. If it's the same one that I'm thinking of, and I'm pretty sure it is, who the former attorney for Aguilar referenced as supposedly creating case law in Sheridan, Colorado, with 5 arrests that were made under that supposed ordinance. So I think that people should be real wary about where the information is coming from, because the people of Aguilar were told that it was being sent through from another attorney, and I'm highly questioning that, only for the simple fact that it was out of the blue and it was the attorney for Sheridan. So it's a little food for thought for you folks in Aguilar.
Yeah.
Well, they like their crooked lawyers, John. I mean, without their crooked lawyers, we wouldn't have had butt smear. We wouldn't have had a couple of them, John.
Yeah.
I agree.
They seek them out, obviously.
Well, in this day and age, that seems to be what everybody, all these guys want to do, is they want to seek out only the information that will pertain to their project, and they want to seek out only the legal expertise that where they can make it go the way they want it to go, and all the consultants, all that stuff. You know, it's not like
surround themselves with yes men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, Gary and Terry, you'll notice how far they have to reach for lawyers. There's a reason for this, because Aguilar kind of has a reputation that there's these two guys out here that like to step up and not let them do their little thing.
Yeah. The last one that came in, first thing he said is the First Amendment is cockamamie, and they're twisting it to their advantage.
What?
Get the fuck out of here. You're fired.
You had an attorney say that the First Amendment was cockamamie.
In a public meeting, and that we have just ran free for too long, and they're going to rein us in. It's not going to be easy, but they will do it through a series of events. And yeah, we finally got his resignation.
Oh my God!
Finally got his
we have
resignation.
a secret cell operating in the dark.
Yeah, man, this is what we deal with, and they look specifically for these pieces of shit. They seek them out, just like this.
Terry, let me give you a little clue as to what you're dealing with the former attorney. It was explained to me, right? And I won't say where it came from, but it was explained to me that he would rather keep people in the dark when it came to court requests than to give up the information.
I believe it. That's like our city banker said he would rather spend money than anywhere but in the town he makes money in.
Well, I reached out to the attorney and I sent him a text message because the requests that I submitted last October and November were never responded to. And one of them actually was responded to, but I'm not an actual person. So I never got that request.
You're not an actual person.
Yeah, that's what I was told. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the audio recording of that. You're not a real person.
I am not. And
are you a fourth dimensional being of some kind? Am I missing something?
No, he doesn't exist at all. He's not real.
I'm not real.
Well, you had me fooled, buddy.
So it gets better because to the attorney, I was told, right, in very nice terms, which was I can only advise them to do what's right. They're going to do what they're going to do. So in other words, he admitted that he knew that they were violating the Cora laws, but do what they're going to do. You got to figure it out. So
everywhere. Does it say somewhere in there that they have to respond within a timely manner?
Well, they have 3 days to respond, and then if they ask for an extension, they have an additional 7 for a total of 10 days. The problem here is you're not even getting it in 10 days. You're not getting the response.
No, you're not even getting the first 3 days.
Well,
you're not going to get anything. They're just going to see the name and go like,
it's a lot of places, guys. I dealt with it in Bent County too. I was dealing with a request there when I eventually got my request, but it wasn't easy. And Bent County's lawyer, he's an idiot too, in my opinion.
Which one, the new one or Sam Vigil?
No, his name's not Vigil.
It's the new guy. I don't remember his name either.
Yeah,
some slick
Nathan
guy out of
Schultz
Denver
or something like that.
Yeah,
he's a tool. But all right, guys. Well, we're hitting 2 hours
okay,
here.
yeah, thanks so much.
You guys all stay on here. We'll play out.
Stay on here.
And,
we're gonna yeah.
And everybody in chat, we appreciate you guys coming. Thanks for sticking around.
Thank you.
Everybody knows how to get a hold of us if you need us. You guys have a great weekend.
You can find me on Facebook, Terry Kim.
Hey, Jake, you found that mole yet, brother?
Get him, Jake.
Get him, Jake.
Get him,
back. Shadows he finds a friend or a foe, can't see clearly where the truth may lie. In his own yard under watchful sky, every step he takes feeling something's wrong. In the whispers at night, can't plan for long. Looking for the mole, making secrets leak. Trust is broken in the jaws of a snake. Oh, where you hide in the night or by my side. patrol. Oh, we'll follow the undertow. Oh, in the undertow. Questions in the eyes wherever he goes. Friends become suspects, everybody knows. Keeping close watch from dawn till dusk. In a world of steel, betrayal is rust. Hearts beat faster when the silence screams. Echoes of loyalty tearing at the seams. Sheriff Jake, 6 eyes so sharp, chasing shadows in the dark. Oh, where you hide in the night or by my side. Oh,
good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks again, everyone.
Stay safe out there. Always record the cops. Happy fucking Cops Day.